I know.
All right, well, let's get going. Welcome back to our EMC Weekly Agent Power Hour. Thanks all for being here. We're going to be diving into the topic of having a dual career while getting full-time results with our guest, Keniece Perscell. I'm Colby, joined as always by my mom, Eva, Dylan, our Every Move Collective family. We run a bi-coastal top producing team out of Westchester, New York, Connecticut, and Los Angeles. We also run Every Move Collective at eXp Realty, which produces these calls. Learning, networking, community. We're here every week. These are for any and all agents, regardless of company or experience level. This is really a space for collaboration. So please, if you're able to come off camera, we would love to feel like we're in a room together with you. If you can drop in the chat your market, it's always helpful for us and for our speakers to get a feel for who's in the room. This is how people build referral relationships as well. And I am actually going to drop our school community in the chat. If you like what you hear today or you're looking to be a part of a community, we have a school community that will post reminders for every call that we host. It's a free community. So feel free to, join it. I know Keniece has a community as well that I'm sure she's going to share on this call. So you'll have options. You can join both. That's the nice thing about school. You join school, you can have a bunch of communities all in one place. Um, so we recently rolled out, well, not even recently, it's been a few months now that we've been partnered with Jake and Tony at Apex Agent, who are dialed in on digital marketing and AI. They come onto these calls every week for a quick little 10 minute segment to keep you abreast of the evolving AI
Oh,
marketing landscape. Let me just mute people and the kitties in the background. Um, and so I'm going to hand it over to Jake to take a few minutes to talk about what's new this week, and then we'll get into the conversation with Kenice.
awesome. Thanks for having me. Like she said, my name is Jake Randolph. I've had a marketing agency for about 10 years now. We do a lot in the real estate industry as well. And one of the big things that I've been doing recently with all my companies, because I'm in different industries, is using AI to really help reach the right people. And not just reach the right people, but talk to them in a way that they would want. Like I always say, continue the conversation going on in someone's head. And so finding that ideal buyer or seller. So I'm going to show you how I do this with AI. And so I'm going to share my screen here. If you could let me share, Colby.
Yeah, I just gave permission.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
And so, a lot of agents market the property and talk about the features and things like that, but a lot of them don't market the reason why someone would really want it. And we're going to go through that today. So features do not create desire, as most of you know. And so what most agents would say is something like 3 bedrooms, updated kitchen, large backyard, close to downtown. But what buyers actually want to hear is the room for my family? Will we need to renovate? Can we entertain here? Does this lifestyle fit us? And so, yes, every property is going to have features, but your marketing must give those features meaning. So, what does it really mean to the potential buyers? And so, 4 things that most listings miss is who is most likely going to want this property? Well, like what type of buyer? Because we all know there's many different types of people out there. And for different properties, especially as you get into like luxury listings and things like that, it's going to be a very specific type of buyer. And I'm going to use the example today of my house in Destin, Florida, because it's a very specific type of buyer we're looking for. Now, the emotion, what does the buyer want their life to feel like? This we all know that buying a new home is a very emotional process. And then the objection, what would stop them from taking action? And then last but not least is the positioning. Why should they choose this property over all the other competition, over the alternatives? And I kind of laid it out in this framework of property, person, emotion, and message. And I'm going to skip over this kind of, but the big thing I want to emphasize is don't ask AI to simply write the listing description because when I've been going through different listing descriptions, it's just like this is kind of boring. It's just feature dumping. It's just talking about the facts. There's no emotion there. There's no, reason why. Okay, I really want to move into this place. And so before we do, I say all that to say we're going to use AI to help understand the buyer. And I've got an exact prompt that I'm going to give you. which is I'll copy and paste and send this to you guys in the chat. And so let me just post this in the chat before I forget. So here's the prompt, and I'm going to show you how to use it. And so it's act as a real estate marketing strategist, analyze this property and identify the three most likely buyer profiles, what each buyer cares about emotionally, the strongest selling angle for each buyer, the biggest objection each buyer may have, and how the property should be positioned differently from competing listings, and then three social media hooks. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use this information we get about finding the right buyers. You can use it for your listing description, or maybe you're trying to market a different property. You can use it for your social media post, your content. It's going to be a great starting point for all that stuff that you're doing for your marketing. And so you're going to post in this, copy the prompt, and then you'll put the property information here. So I went ahead and did this for my house that's for sale in Destin. I'm actually going to talk to the agent who listed it because we are not doing this for my house. And so I already sent him a message like, hey, we got to fix this listing because I don't like the way it's written. But this is my house in Destin, so I put in the property details. I told ChatGPT, here's the listing, give me the details. And so I've got this prompt queued up just for the sake of time. So here's the prompt that I just showed you. I posted that in the Zoom chat. And then I'm going to take out the part that says paste property details here. And so here's my property. So current asking price, the bedrooms, the living size, the lot size, the year built, the community, the different location features, the interior, key exterior features, amenities of the community, and then the known marketing challenges. And so I'm going to paste that in here and we'll see what it gives us. But hopefully it's going to really give me a solid idea of like, okay, these are the type of people that would want to move to this property, or these are the type of people that I really need to be speaking to if I want to sell this property, whether it's doing a YouTube video, whether it's doing an Instagram reel. And so let's see what it says. So this home should not be marketed as another four bedroom. The real advantage is, and I agree with this, it's like the most private lot in Destin. 1.42 private acres plus waterfront setting plus conservation backdrop. And so most competing listings are forcing people to choose between privacy versus amenities versus proximity to everything. And this house has it all. And I think we can sell it better if we actually do a better job communicating that. And so here's the buyer profile it's given me. It's the private full-time family buyer. So who they are, a business owner, physician, executive, military leader, who wants privacy without living far from the schools, the shopping, and the restaurants. So they want the privacy, but they also want to be, around everything, all the conveniences. And so, what they care about emotionally, they want to feel like they finally made it without giving up practicality. They care about their children having room to play safely, not seeing directly into the neighbor's backyard. And it's funny as I'm reading this, it's like these are all the reasons I bought the house myself. And so it's pretty dang accurate. Hosting family without cars lining the street, living inside a secure, established community. And so, I'm not going to read through all this, but I'm going to show you how I would use this. And so, biggest likely objection, the interior may not feel as new or modern as other homes. So yeah, it's built in 2003, and so we have to do a good job of explaining how it was renovated and things like that. And so it's given it like three different buyer profiles. The entrepreneur, being able to work without using a bedroom as an office, hosting holidays. Okay. And so what I would do is I would say, one, I would probably just download this as a PDF, like either tell it to give me the PDF version or copy and paste it into Google Docs. And from that document, now I can, I'm just going to say, well, I would say make it into a PDF, but sometimes that takes a few minutes. So I'm just going to go to Google Docs just for sake of time because I only got a few more minutes. So what I've been doing in all my companies is finding those buyer profiles just like this. So the customer profiles, and then I use it as a basis for my marketing. And this has really improved all of our stuff and helped a lot of my clients. And so now we have this, I'm going to call it the buyer psychology. And so we got this as a document. Now I can download it as a PDF. And so I could start a new chat or a ChatGPT project or a Claude project and use that document to help me. But instead, I'm going to stay in the same chat and I'm going to say, okay, based on this, write me three different Instagram reels that you think would be awesome to film. And we are going to film content there tomorrow. So this is kind of killing two birds with one stone. All right. And so it's going to be looking at the buyer profiles, and then it's going to give me ideas of what would actually hit, like on Instagram or YouTube Shorts. Okay, so it's going to contrast the busy, crowded version of Destin versus the privacy of the home. Yeah, I like that. And so you can start outside. But do you guys get what I'm doing? I'm basically saying, okay, this is my buyer psychology. This is what they really want. This is who they are. And then I'm using it to make better content, make better listings, make better everything.
I already
And
had someone DM me and say that this is such a huge nugget for them on a listing that hasn't sold yet. So awesome
awesome.
stuff.
So I'm probably going to do the same. I'm going to use that document, come up with a YouTube script, and then I'm going to go film it tomorrow. So, um, did you guys all get the prompt in the chat?
I see it on my end.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
So yeah, that'll be there. Copy and paste that, guys. If you want to reach out to Jake, you can reach out to us. We'll connect you. Follow him on Instagram. He posts tons of tips like this. He has a school community as well. He or his partner Tony are on these calls for the first 5 to 15 minutes every week, every Thursday. So if you're interested, this will always be a part of these weekly segments. So thank you, Jake, for being here. Appreciate you as always. Yeah,
Awesome.
I think
Thank
we're
you.
cool. Thank you. And let's get going with our main star, Keniece. I was lucky enough to see Keniece speak at an event in Southern California a few months back. Was really struck by her presence, her message, and just what she's been able to achieve. And I specifically asked her to come on and speak about how she's so successfully built a real estate business while working full time because you hear all the time you have to go all in real estate. Like if you're even thinking about being a part-time agent, like good luck in this market. It's so competitive. If you're not full time, you won't succeed. She's closed 55 million in volume while working a full-time job. She's the real deal. There's a lot to learn from her here. So I'm going to pass it over to you so you can tell us a little bit about your story and then we can get into it. And this is meant to be a conversation, so please jump in, use the chat, raise your hand, and yeah.
Yeah, no PowerPoint slides. I didn't want to make it stuffy this morning or afternoon for you guys, some of you. My name is Keniece Perscell. I am a real estate agent. I've been licensed for about 8 years, and I'm also a part of the leadership team for the Department of Developmental Services here in the state of California. And I've been doing that for almost 17 years. And what caused me to get into real estate is I've always made a really good salary with the department, but it's a state job, and we have a really great pension, really, retirement benefits, all of the things, and we make good money, but there's always a cap. Anytime you work a job, there's a cap. So the earning potential only goes so far unless you're promoting or something like that. And when you're working for the state, it's very hard. People typically die in those roles. And so I said, you know what? I wanted to get into something that I can make a little extra money on the side, nothing too big. So if I can just close about 3 to 5 deals a year, that will make it great, especially here in California with these awesome price points at that time. And then once I started to be intentional with my time, because I only had so much to work with, my business kind of took a turn of its own, and it kind of exploded. And I said, there's something to this. And so many brokers, were telling me that it was time for me to let my 9 to 5 go, and that if I wanted to grow even bigger, then I needed to let the 9 to 5 go. And I'm not gonna like lie to you. I thought about it. But then I said, but what I'm doing is working. So why would I change or shift anything if what I'm doing is working? And so 50, almost 60 million later, my business is doing better than ever. And in fact, I was just clearing my calendar from my 9 to 5. I do work in the office 3 days out of the week. The other days I work from home, and I'm off on the weekends. So I'm very, very intentional with my weekends. I have a smooth onboarding and offboarding process for my My clients, I have virtual assistants. I do have an assistant. So if you do plan to keep your 9 to 5, you will have to start delegating more because you're not superhuman. And so that's pretty much what my story is. And on average, I close anywhere between 16 to 20 deals a year by myself, and between 10 to 16 million. So I think I do okay. At least it works for me. And I have not had a slow year. I'm pretty much on referral. I do not purchase Zillow leads. I do not do anything like that. I invest my money into geographic farming. So I'm not here to give you fluffy stuff. I'm here to tell you exactly what it is that I do. So I spend most of my money on geographic farming because I don't have time to make phone calls. I'm working. I do not have time to knock on anybody's door because I'm working. And that's not authentic to me. I cannot knock on your door because I can't do that consistent enough because it doesn't live here. I'm not a salesman at heart. Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't like to be sold, so I don't sell anything to anyone. I'm intentional with who I spend my time with, but most of my business comes from geographic farming. I spend a lot of money on targeting my community where I live. I live in a city called Ontario Ranch, and I am the #1 real estate agent here. I have 7 listed in this community. You see my signs everywhere. And I host community events here. My husband is the president of the HOA. That was intentional too for the business. And everything has to work with intention. I do not chase anyone. If you don't want to work with me, that's okay. Um, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, I don't attend new listing appointments. They already know that they want to hire me just based off of my marketing. And I can share some of that with you, what that looks like. And everything is top tier. So I don't want to talk so much about myself, but what I want to tell you, if you are dual career, the first thing you have to do is stop apologizing for being dual career, for having another stream of income is what I like to call it. Um, and a lot of the times brokers tell you that you need to leave because they don't really know what else to tell you. They tell you that, you have to kind of be balls to the walls and get comfortable getting uncomfortable. And it's like, yeah, there is some truth to that, but you have to do one thing all the time, one or two things all the time. And if you cannot authentically show up, and that's I'm talking door knocking, I'm talking all those traditional things that brokers instill in us. If you cannot do that thing all the time, how are you going to show up? And then how are you going to get results if you don't do it all the time? So my way of doing things is geographic farming, and getting in front of people is I get in front of people before they even know that they want to sell. I get in front of people before selling even comes in their mind. And then when it's time, I'm the obvious choice because that's all they've been seeing. They see my market updates, they get my newsletters. I'm at the grocery store. We have a grocery store called Stater Brothers. I'm telling you, every other time. Oh, yeah, but this took years. It took years to build, but you have to be consistent with it. So I mail out every month. I do my newsletters. I do market reports. That is my form of door knocking. I do have social media, but I don't have this huge following. But one thing I'll tell you about social media is those people who get my mailers, they check my facts on social media. They're able to get a chance to get to know me on social media, and that's what helps them make their decision. So no, I do not have hundreds of thousands of followers. I think I may have a little over 3,500. I know that's probably a lot to some, but it's not. In the social media world, I'm not even considered a micro influencer, but I know that my social media and the content that I have, it helps to aid in me getting the role as a listing agent. I have about 12 listed total. And most of my listings come from referrals in my community. I never had a sphere of influence. I was the first to own. No one's even qualified in my sphere of influence. So I have to borrow other people's sphere of influences. And that's right here in New Haven community here in Ontario Ridge. So,
Keniece?
I'm
yeah,
curious.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
go ahead. I was just gonna ask so that we can, kind of, and please, other people ask questions if you have them as they come up. But I'm curious as I hear you talking about this, like, are you leveraging relationships in your job to build your real estate business, or are you building your business outside and just letting these two careers sort of operate independently of one another? Like, how much are they overlapping for you?
they don't. The reason that they don't overlap is because I am a leader in my role. I have 24 staff members that report to me. I have an administrative assistant. I am not allowed to market to them. It's a conflict of interest. And nor can I market to the community that we service. So that was something that was very clear to me with our council because I just knew it wasn't going to be a conflict of interest for me to be a real estate agent. So I didn't quite disclose. Well, see me on social media and they're like, well, hey, what's going on? So I had to have this big old huge roundtable meeting with the powers that be. And they said, congratulations on this business that you've created. Cause, and they said, here's what we're asking. Because of your role, please do not market to the staff. Please do not, and that's fine. There's so much business. I don't need to market to them. So if you are dual career, it's important that you ask those questions because you can utilize your 9 to 5 as some form of leverage. I think it's a beautiful idea, but if they say that you cannot, not all is lost. There's so much money to be made and so much people. You don't have to.
That is
Yeah, you
such
don't
a
have to.
cup is half full outlook that I think is really important to have in our industry. To
Yeah.
remind ourselves that there's so many people out there and it's just a matter of getting in front of them. So you mentioned that you get in front of people before they even know or think that they want to buy. Are you doing that with events? Obviously, you mentioned you're doing with the mailers. Like, what does that sort of look like for you? What's the consistency of that? If you're willing to open, really kind of let us in, open that playbook a little so that people can take that
Absolutely.
home into their markets and try it out themselves.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a part of an HOA community. So if you're not a part of an HOA community, you're going to have to do things a little differently. Okay. So if you are a part of an HOA community, you do not have to sit on a board. You do not have to do any of those things. I do a one time a year because again, I have a job and I have another business. Actually, I have three. So I work for the Department of Developmental Services. I'm a real estate agent and I'm also an agent. I don't like the term coach, but I do have, a coaching community inside of school. So that's something that I pour a lot of my time into my agents in that community. So I don't have a lot of time. So I do one event a year in my community, and it's called New Haven's Community Business Mixer. I take all of the community's business owners, whether they have inflatables or um, photo booths, whatever business that they have, I bring them together in one room and we do small bites. We have the DJ, our DJs here in the community. So everyone that has a business, they come out, they set up their booths, and then we invite the members of the community to come out to meet the business owners, to test what they have. And I do that. It's about 4 hours. I do it every fall. And then I also do the trunk or treat. So I do, but the HOA puts that on. I'm just there. I'm a vendor there, but I actually put on the community business mixer and I do the mailers. So they see me everywhere.
Yeah, visibility is super important.
It
And
is.
so you and I mean, offline, we've talked about how important it is to use your time effectively. You kind of mentioned that at the beginning of the call here too. So what does it look like for you day to day or week to week? Like, how are you balancing the two roles? How much time are
Mhm,
you spending a day or per week
mhm,
building your real estate business, managing your real estate community?
mhm. CRM is not an option. It's not an option. I don't care what CRM you use. I don't use the traditional CRMs like everyone else. I use Buffini because the Buffini system literally tells me exactly what I need to do. So you grade everybody from A through D. And A are people who's likely to use you. You may have closed the deal with them before. B is somebody you just met, maybe at an open house. C is someone like a vendor, home inspector or something like that. And D is disregard, delete them, discharge, whatever you want to call it, get rid of them. Okay. So I typically work on warm relationships. So in this particular CRM, it tells me who am I going to call because I already know them, right? So it's not awkward. Who am I going to send my handwritten cards to? I love handwritten cards. That's something else that warms the heart and will get you business. And who am I going to pop by? So I pop by here in my community also. And it's all a part of like a system. So
Pop
Monday
by
through
like in
Friday,
person.
I just drop it off on their front doorstep. I don't even ring the doorbell.
Got it.
I don't ring the doorbell because it gets awkward to me. When I ring the doorbell, I don't know if I'm like disturbing or, so I don't ring the doorbell. Some people, I have a coach. She says, you need to ring the doorbell and tell them what you're doing. No, no, no. I get the same result without ringing the doorbell. So it is what it is. So what I do, do I have the mailer? I'm gonna show you the mailer. One second, I'm gonna grab it.
Okay. We
Colby,
do.
while she's doing that, I really wanted to jump in a little bit into how she started out. Because what she said with the mailers, et cetera, is that it takes time, sometimes years. And we're talking to, some people here that are looking for more immediate results. And I'm sure she did those things to begin with.
Yes. So it didn't take years. If you do farm in a community and you want immediate results, I know you're not going to believe this, but you need to go into more of the newer communities. They have the highest turnover. I don't know why they do, but the homes that are heavily established where grandma was there and she raised her children and then her children stayed there, I wouldn't pour my money into those communities. I will find the newer communities. And they need to
When
have
you
at
say
least,
community, are you referring to, like you said, you're an HOA? We don't in New York, at least, there isn't a big presence of big communities like that. Most of our neighborhoods are, one house is built in 1929 and the next one is built in 1960 and the one next to it is 1980. And there are trends of turnover, which you can research. Because, people move into neighborhoods at the same time, move out of neighborhoods at the same time. But I don't think the community like the HOA choices are as readily available as they are in California.
right. So then what I would suggest that you do is just simply find the neighborhood that has the highest turnover. The move up buyers or the ones where the homes are relatively large and they need to downsize. Wherever there's a turnover of 5% or more, that's how you would do your targeting. So I do something like this. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is Ontario Ranch. It's a market report that I give every single month. And the shelf life is forever. They don't throw it away because it gives the trends as far as what the homes are selling for. And then on this side, there's like a map of all the homes that are currently listed, and it just kind of gives the statistics. I don't do this, the company does it. And then on the back of every single one of my mailers is one of my featured listings that I have that I'm trying to, it's either just listed or just sold or an escrow. And I've been pretty consistent with having listings. So you're able to put that back there, or you're able to highlight something that's going on in the community or what tax dollars are going to. You're able to kind of add some type of a value, like a did you know fact or something like that in the back of this. I use a company called Real Marketing. They're based out in San Diego and they're zip code specific. So no other agent can utilize Real Marketing here in New Haven. And I market to about 1,500 homes. You do not have to start there. I would say start at least at 200. That's considered affordable, and it's not if you do like 52 cents a stamp, you need to at least market to 200 homes. Otherwise, it's going to take you a lot longer to see a result. When I started these, I got a listing maybe 3 months after. Not that that's like the norm, but people feel special when they get, it's like, oh, wow, what is this? It's like, who is this girl? And then for my Popeyes, you go, well, what's your Popeye system? When they scan this QR code, it sends me a text notification of who scanned it. And then I get something really cute. I'll try to find them on Facebook. If I can't find them on Facebook, find any information, I just do like a standard CMA. I'll do a cute little CMA that I create on Canva. And my CMAs and all of the cool things that I use is available in my community. I just give it to my agent. But I'll update the CMA, and I'll put like some candy in a bag, maybe like a Starbucks gift card, and put something in there and say, this is a latte to read. So enjoy, a cup of coffee on me, something kind of cute. Chat can help you with that. And I just drop it off on their front doorstep. And that's when they scan the QR code, because that's intentional. They scanned, they want a result. So yes, when they scan it, it goes to my home bot and they're able to get their value, but they're also going to get their value when I drop the CMA off on their front doorstep. So they're going to see me twice, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so when you first started out, you're getting into real estate. It sounds like you started doing these pretty early into the experience, but what did it look like those first few months as you were developing your business and developing your value proposition? Like, how did that, how did your business start to build to the point of taking off?
Yeah. Are you talking about from the beginning?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, guys, let me tell you. In the beginning, I was doing mobile homes. I was running myself into the ground for $75,000 mobile homes. Okay, that's just to be completely honest. And I said, I've got to figure out something else. This is not going to work. 2022, how many, you could put it in the chat and just put me. In 2022, how many of you were really, really doing some big numbers between 2020 and 2022? Hell yeah. Yep. 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 And then I would say in 2023, things kind of just started to slow down. In 2023 is when I decided I had to change it up. Is when I decided I had to hit the pedal, because when the market goes down, you have to increase it. Because now I'm only now the people who want to sell are the people who have to sell. We're in these 2.875, 2% interest rates. Why would I give that up? It's only because I have to. So you have to get in front of those people. So 2023, Colby, is when I said I have to amp it up. I could not afford these at the time. So what did I do? I had blank cards I got from Amazon, and it was me, my niece Tanoa, Nicole. We were writing handwritten cards. I paid those girls maybe $20, and we were doing handwritten cards. And I put my business cards in there, and I started to mail those out. If you can't afford to do it, that's okay. Then you have to do sweat equity. Then you have to do it. But you still don't have to call anybody, and you still don't have to knock on their door. That's not the sweat equity I'm talking about in 2026. That worked in the 80s. You do not have to do that today. But does it work? Yes, it all works. But you have to be consistent. So if you can't consistently make the phone calls, then you're not going to get business making the phone calls. So I found another way to get to people, and that was through handwritten cards, handwriting, paying somebody to do it, which were my nieces in this particular case. And then after that, I decided I could up it because I got listings from that. And then I had to pour money into doing this.
What did you write on the cards when you sent them out?
Oh my gosh, it varied. It depended on the season. It depended on the month. ChatGPT's been running around for a long time, so I've been utilizing that. and just something really, really quick. I don't have a handwritten card next to me. And they appreciate your poor penmanship also. So I've gotten calls that said, "Oh my gosh, I got your," and they're going to open it. 100% they're going to open it because it looks like an invitation or something like that. So they're going to open it. And then I did those every month. So let me tell you what you need to do. Get your notebooks out. On the first of every month, I decided what I was going to write. And I committed to writing 10 cards a week. I would be on my lunch break, writing down cards, writing down 10 cards a week. You could do 2 a day, you could do 3 a day, you can write all 10 in the same day. And on the 30th or the 31st of that month, I put them all in the mail. And I repeated it the next month. I would be at a Starbucks. The line is long. I would be at Starbucks and I'll just pull out a card and just write in it really quick. Real quick, not a novel. Don't do a dissertation. Just something real quick. And then so I had cards, blank cards from Amazon, stamps. And at the end of every single month, I put them in the mail with my business card. So they've been seeing me. And that started in 2023. And I had not sold in this community. Between 2020, the end of 2023 to now, I've sold 16 homes.
Amazing. And that is everyone is getting a card every month, or it's like spaced out, where like every few months you get through the full batch of 200. And so they get one every few months.
So what I would do is for the sake of like your hands, what you could do is you can do every other. So this group of people will get a handwritten card in February, and you drop those off on the 30th or the 28th, right? For February. So they'll get those at the top of March. And then when you start your March, you can do a different group. But if you want to up your goal, instead of doing 10 a week, you could do 20 a week. You just space it out during the day, or just before you leave and you go to the beach on Saturday, or I'm talking to my Californians or whatever. You just take a couple of cards, or get your niece or your child, your daughter, your son, whatever. Hey, I'll give you Robux. I don't know. I don't have any children. I don't know. And then you just and you get someone to write the cards for you. Make sure you proofread, make sure you take a look at it. And that's the way you start it. And then after that, after you're getting and you're closing your deals, then you can take that money and you can put it into some other print marketing. But I will never not do geo farming, ever. It is the best kept secret, because people say it's old, it's antiquated. No, people still check their mail. And I don't know if you guys have 55 plus communities in your areas, or retirement communities, or what. They check their mail and they go, "Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh, she's so cute." It's like there's communities, or I call them communities or neighborhoods, that you can market to.
I have a question, Keniece, because uh there's always conversation around, and I've had it myself, around and you mentioned that at one point you were like, you had to get to it, right? You had to shift and do something different. There's a lot of times where we spend time with people and it's like we're wasting our time. I've said it myself. I've heard other people say, like, "Oh, I'm wasting my time with this person." And then you'll also hear, when you say yes to something, you say no to something else. I've said that myself as well. So when you're, in that place where you're just, getting started and you're just really hustling to get it to work. I mean, I've been there too. Well, how do you decide where's the right place to spend the time? And I heard you loud and clear. One thing that you said is pick one thing that you want to do that you can do consistently and go at it. That I hear. Is there a way to differentiate Is it the coding system that you talked about where, you know, people's motivation? Where do you decide to spend, or with whom do you decide to spend your time is really a more accurate question. Do you know what I mean?
Are you meaning like the type of client?
Yeah, I mean, we have people that when you're hungry, right? You go after anything. Like you said, you were selling
Yeah,
$75,000 mobile
yeah,
homes, right?
yeah.
When does that become a waste of your time and
Oh,
not, you know, not
yeah,
where you want to spend your time anymore? Like I still sell $100,000 co-ops. Is
yeah,
it a waste of my time? I'm not so sure because in my
right.
business, it's grown from, you know, the people that buy the $100,000 co-ops end up being the buyers of bigger things later on. But there
Mm-hmm.
is a line, and I'm not always sure for myself where that
Yes.
line is. And I see it with my team members. I see it with people that are on my team. They, you know, they call 3 times, somebody doesn't call them back. They're like, oops, that person's not
No.
serious. You know,
Yeah.
how do you determine when's the real time to give up on something or not?
When you're
I don't
so mentally drained. The $75,000 mobile homes drained me more than my $1 million deals. So it's like highest and best use of time. So I don't, when I get referrals for mobile homes, I don't say no. I just pass it to one of my, I don't have a team or a brokerage, but I pass it to someone that I know. And now I'll pass to someone in my community because I have a job. I have a 9 to 5. I cannot waste my time. But at that particular time, Eva, I was just wanting to lead with a giving heart. I wanted to just help everybody. I'm going to help everybody. Well, it was at the expense of me. And I couldn't do that anymore. So it's not certain price points. Here in California, just like in New York, it's very different. So the price points vary. So if you have a realistic price point and you trust me, I'll put you in a home. If you have a realistic price point to sell, I'll sell your home. If you're not realistic and you do not trust me, no matter what price point you're on, I am not working with you because you are going to run me into the ground and I know you are.
I love
I
that.
love
So
the
no.
criteria of trusting. I see Michelle has her hand up, so I'm more than happy to jump and let you jump in, Michelle. You're on mute.
Oh no, you're off now. Oh, we just can't hear you for some reason. Maybe check your mic, and just see if you're connected to the right speaker on your audio.
How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Um, so Keniece, thank you so much. Can you share what a week in your life is? You know, how much time do you dedicate to real estate in addition to your 9 to 5? Like, what does that look like?
People ask me, are you a part-time real estate agent? No, I'm a full-time real estate agent. So Monday through Friday, I spend I have to be at work. Work starts at 7:30 in the morning. So I get up and I log on probably between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. I check my emails, I respond. Because I'm salary, I can also work late evenings as well. And I check in, see what's going on, and give my admin tasks and different things like that to do while my phone is blowing up from real estate. I do take my real estate calls because we're in 2026 and we can have our cell phones with us. And I respond to emails. Now, as far as my prospecting, I prospect and I make my calls to my warm leads between 12 and 1:30 every day. And if I can't, if 12 to 1:30 doesn't work because I'm doing something else, I have to give that hour and a half to 2 hours, find another part of that day to do that. If I'm working and someone wants to see a home, let's just say for those that are on the call that's here in California, Southern California, I'm in Ontario. Let's say somebody wants to see something in Porter Ranch or Calabasas or somewhere far away. Just going to use that for shits and giggles. I'll call a local brokerage in that area and ask if they have a newer agent that'd be willing to show a couple of homes for me. It's never failed me. It's never ever failed me. And then there's like a here in California, we get our buyers rep agreement signed. It used to be much of a stickler, but we're still able to have showing agents. We just let the agent know what's happening, and I'll pay them, however much I negotiate with that agent to show it. A lot of the times, newer agents just want to get the experience, and they'll show the property for me while I'm either at my office at work, or I'm here working at home. And then we figure out if we're going to write an offer, and if we're going to write an offer, I'll submit the offer. Listings are so much easier because I can take care of that in the evening. Most of my listing appointments are between 5 and 6 p.m. And I offer those times. I do not ask them. I say, hey, I have these times available. Does this work for you? And they say yes. And I get out there, we get the listing agreement signed, and then I send my team out there for photos. I don't need to be there for that. But if I need to stage it, there's different, whatever the house needs, I'll coordinate. But just something, let's just say the house is nice and it's ready to go, then we'll get that going. Somebody asked for my onboarding and offboarding. We'll have to have a sidebar conversation on that because it's just too long. And I actually have a call at 10. So I onboard and offboard my sellers as well. But that's what my day looks like. If I can't do it, I have to pay somebody to do it because my 9 to 5, a lot of times I have to be present front and center on that. But if I cannot do it, I have a virtual assistant. She's out in the Philippines. Her name's Sherry. She's amazing. And then I have Caitlin, who is my actual assistant here in person. And she's my onboarding concierge. So a lot of times she's with me during my listing appointments and buyers consultations that are in person. But that did not start that way. I've only been having this team for maybe about a year and a half. Because now I have to start paying. I have to hire my weaknesses.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Did we miss any other? I did notice up above, you kind of answered some of this in what you just covered, but the second part of Lorraine's question was, how do you explain part-time support versus full-time realtor? I mean, you are a full-time realtor. Are you leaving out the fact that 9 to 5 you're working another job, or is that a part of you just prepare them for that experience and assure them that you'll still be, available to support them,
It's none
as
of
you
my
would?
clients' business what I do outside of the hours that I'm not servicing them.
Okay.
As long as I'm showing up and servicing them. And I always introduce my team up front and say, hey, this is Caitlin Gale. She'll be contacting you to, complete disclosures, so
Yep.
forth. So they're not expecting to hear from me every second of the day. I'm on group chats with all of my deals, and they're titled by the name of the property. So I know what I'm referring to. So I have like 5 that's closing between today and Tuesday. So they're blowing up, right? So I know exactly who I'm talking to. So it encompasses of the seller, and Caitlin, not my virtual assistant, but it's Caitlin, and then my transaction team. We're all in one group, so we're able to communicate. They know up
Do you
front.
use WhatsApp or just group chats for that?
This group, just a
Nice.
regular, yeah, right here, transaction team. It's just a regular
Yep.
text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was not
Cool.
always here. It did not always start here, though.
Systems get developed over time, but
Systems
it's
get
helpful
developed
for
over
us to
time.
understand your systems that people can take what resonates with them and start to implement that in their own businesses.
Yeah. The CRM is very, very important. You can have Chat or Claude help you create, according to your business, your onboarding and offboarding. That's who helped me, was Claude. So it's nothing special. There's nothing special. There's nothing new under the sun. Nobody's going to tell you anything that Claude or Chat can't do. But I also do something called Red Team, where I have Perplexity, I have Claude, and I have Chat. And I ask them all the same things, and then I pit them against each other where they can find the holes and the gaps of what I'm missing. And that's something I encourage you guys to do too. But it's called like Red Team, right? Red Team. Yeah.
Cool. That's an actual app.
Perplexity is an app,
Mm-hmm.
Claude and Chat. I ask them the same thing,
Uh-huh.
and then I'll take what Chat said and put it in Claude and say, "This is what I got from Claude. Find what's missing." That's
Got
what
it.
it's when you tell it finding what's missing is like a red team. You're putting them against each other, and they go, "This
I
is
see, I
great,"
see.
but what they missed is,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
take that same thing and you give it to Perplexity,
It could go on
and then it
forever.
does, and yeah, but it comes
It helps.
together beautifully, and it doesn't seem so AI-ish.
Yeah.
And that
Mm-hmm.
created my whole onboarding and offboarding process. And then, of course, you get your VA to what's the word I'm looking for? Brand it for you. Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm sure help you implement and maintain it over time. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're nearing the last 5 or so minutes of the call. I have another Keniece Purcell looking to enter the waiting
Yeah,
room. Should I
it's me
let them
because I'm
in?
gonna have to grab it from my phone.
Okay. Let me mute you so we don't echo.
You're echoing.
Did you want to drop your school community in the chat so that anyone who's interested in checking it out can find it? Oh, did she fall off totally?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
probably going to come back on her phone because she was getting feedback. There she is.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
Okay,
seeing you now.
I'll drop my school.
Perfect.
And all of this information, guys, is I give it to my members. It's, we talk about being dual career. Because most of the members in the community are also dual career. And I speak to them, sidebar. We have separate calls, and I just love pouring into agents. It's my favorite.
Awesome. Yeah, you seem like you have a really amazing growing community from what you shared when I saw you speak in
Yeah.
person. So that's
Yeah.
really awesome. Hopefully I'll get to see you speak in person again soon.
Yes.
Any last minute questions, anybody? Everyone's feeling good about what they learned today?
Thank you.
No, I got some great nuggets out of this. We will be back on here again next week. I know Kenice said here today, like, look, you don't have to knock on doors, but if that's what you want to do, it works. Next week, we have author Stephen Ross. He's coming back for a part two. We had him on here 2 years ago. So he's coming back. He's knocked on 100,000 doors in his career. And so if door knocking is something that excites you, resonates with you, is a good fit for your personality, definitely come check this out. Also, just like amazing
Well,
script.
yeah, if I can jump in, I think a lot of his message is how to convert scripts that he used when door knocking to however it is that you want to build your business. It's more about the scripting being used at the right place and right time. And I'll just give you guys a sneak peek. We are going to do something in person with him in September in New York. So stay tuned.
Well, we will give you a few minutes back in your morning or afternoon. Thank you so much, Kenice, for spending your time with us and being so generous with your experience, your methods. I learned a lot from you, and I just really think you're an awesome magnetic leader. So thank you for your time. Have a great next meeting. Everyone have a great weekend. Reach out to us if you have any questions. This will be up on YouTube, and in our school community, we'll post the recording so you can go back and rewatch this. Thanks all.
Thanks, everybody. Talk
Bye,
soon.
everyone.